Okay. So on the last call, we went over some of the things about what to actually look for,
Hmm.
um, how to do the read, make sure your read can only work well is if first if you identify what kind of situation you're in, and then to trade that situation off the levels. So just as a quick recap from the preview, is trending situation, and then higher low situation, which means buyers have been invited, so be careful.
Mhm.
And on top of that is being aware of any volumes that are coming up from that story that's unfolding. So we're
Mhm.
trying to be aware of every little thing that's unfolding and saying, I noticed this, I noticed this support here, but no one really sees that. I
Mhm.
noticed that support there. Even a big boy sees that on his time frame because of this area. I noticed this resistance, and I also noticed this cluster on top that failed. So a lot of these things we're trying to stay on top of what is visible to who, um, to make sure that we're not going offset. And then once things reach a certain resistance or a support, we're like, can we get a bounce off of this? Right? Can we get a bounce off of this? So let's take a look at examples of, for example, New Zealand yen. Sorry.
There you
Okay, so here we are on New Zealand yen, and let's assume I'm strictly, oh no, not again. I can't open this.
go.
I think it's slowed down again. So let me reopen up the whole thing.
Mhm. Hey,
Hello,
Ali.
hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How
How's
are
it
you
going?
all?
How's it going?
Good, good. How are
Yeah,
you?
good,
Good,
good.
good, good, good.
Good, good.
Okay, just reloading it up.
Please, don't mind if I have a quick bite. I just woke up very late. Haven't had breakfast yet, so I'll have it while
Oh
you all
yeah,
are.
no problem, no problem. Okay, let me try now. Oh, there we go. And now New Zealand yen. Now you're gonna have to share your breakfast with Sanjit because he just woke up too, and he's probably wants to eat.
Oh,
Yeah, I might get jealous.
I'll make you hungry then.
And then me and Michael are okay with breakfast anytime, so bring it over. Like,
Okay,
So
I'll send it. I'll send it through
all
Telegram.
day, all day brunch, right?
okay, so when we look at this thing from this time frame, let's say this is the time frame we have selected, and we're here, we're looking at it, and we're like, okay, we see this visually, we because of that, that, and that, we're aware of that. We're aware of, these type of things here, that thing down there, cool. We're aware of this up here, that. We're aware of this support here, and then that resistance, and then aware of this. And now higher low, sorry, higher low, higher low. On the higher time frame, these little ones might not be visible, but as a whole, it might. If not, this one will be visible on the higher time frame as a higher low. So as we're getting aware of all these things, we're sort of reading the situation of, okay, whatever this pullback was, I can't really do the buy as it's approaching that support at full capacity. Like it's like slamming down, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's leg number one, slam down. Leg number one, I can see the details of each candle. It's pretty hot. This is leg number two. It's bigger than leg one. And I can see the details. Okay, it was slowing down and then it picked up momentum again. It's like, okay, that's not good. Not to mention, there's sellers also, but right at the end. Okay, now because of that, I'm not sure if the cells will come in again for a potential leg trade, right? So
Mhm.
as prices pull back, they attempt a leg 3, but we don't get a bad close anywhere. So we don't get a low entry point. We do have a bad close on the seller here, but now that's a little too high for us to say, I want to buy it. We're away from support now.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? So it's like, okay, we see an opportunity, but we're actually very close to seller's area. I don't want to buy up there now. Not to mention because leg 2 was so big. What if a leg 3 just shows up, it won't because of this. It tried, but just in case that that resistance is still alive. So once the whole thing breaks and it gets up to there, we hit this resistance. That resistance pulls back and we're like, fantastic. Let's see if we can do a pullback buy off that level. That's a 50% discount of whatever this whole thing is. As it's coming down, we can see it's come down, pull back, down, pull back. Whoa, too strong. Don't know if SNR will sell again, but 3 legs is good. 3 legs is good. All right. How are the closes?
In the middle, pretty much. Not strong closes for the sellers.
Strong, yeah, not strong closes. And then we get a reaction away from that area saying, okay, it's a strong push away from that chop that came down, but we didn't want to buy because it got strong towards the end. But we've countered it now, right? It's like it slammed up and someone actually there. Okay, so now we're like, okay, let's see if we can get a test to that. We'll just label that as 1 now, and we'll see, can I do a 2 off the area if I can get a price low enough? So it comes down again, subdivided, comes again, candle, 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 bigger in speed, but bad close. Slows down, bad close, medium size, bad close, bad close. So any of these areas, if you want to attempt a buy, to go with the high volume buyer, to go with support actually holding, and we're taking a test off of that, then we can take the buy all the way to the top. So this is us trading it from a daily, saying I was trying to trade a pullback buy. I couldn't trade the initial touch off the area, but I could trade the second one. So now the question comes in is, how do I do the entry part of things in here once I know that I'm trying to attempt in that vicinity? So once you're coming down for the second attempt and we're saying stand by because we don't know how it's going to be, but when it closes bad, we're like, I think it's about time. It's at that area you want to start saying, starting from this candle onwards, we want to see, if you want on the 60-minute, you can look at the fine details of it. Okay, we've had a candle with a bad close like that. If you want, let the sellers, either you can enter at the bad close on the next opening of the next candle, or you can let them come down as sellers and see whenever that seller is done, you can hit the buys. Okay, because here it's already telling you it's go time.
Yeah.
So any test in this vicinity is good to go. Okay, let me try to put it side by side so it's easier to see. What was it? Daily, right? There's that candle on daily, and here we are on the 60. So as soon as the candle closed, we have all of this level comes right back in for a test phase where you get bad close and then a very small candle bad close. The smaller the candle becomes, the better it is for us. Plus, it's better that it's closer to our support, so we can actually hit the buys off the area. Okay, so you can treat it like a primary, secondary type of thing, where it's primary, secondary. They're trying to sell, they're trying to sell, they're trying to sell, cannot work, and then it's our turn. But we already know we want to buy from here. It's just let the sellers give it a go, and then we'll make our move up. Yeah. It takes X amount of hours to get up there. Yeah, it's like 15 days worth of data. Okay, but that's normal. It's a daily chart that we were operating off of. Okay, so that's that. Okay. Let's take a look at another pair together. Try to understand. We're looking at how the read is first, and then we can go into, okay, now that we've identified levels, how do we trade off that level? So what's a good pair? Any pair?
Let's have a look.
I was liking the look of New Zealand USD on Friday for a buy, but yeah, don't know if that's going to fit this criteria or not.
Okay. So what are we looking at on this one?
So
yeah.
Yeah, so I'd originally I've been looking at it on the 1 hour, and then it seemed the story actually ended up on the 4 hours. I was just trying to catch a primary. Yeah, it looked like there was buy setting up on the primary secondary. The secondary had launched, and I thought perhaps it was already on. Is what I had thought based on the 1 hour. So let me just get my annotations. Yes, I'm very much aware of this. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'd be treating this like a two-sided market trade, not trying to get new highs. Wasn't even thinking that one. I was more going for this one here. I thought that's something I could possibly see working out well. Originally on the, I know if I was doing the micro view, I can see the moves down, like I can see the moves down and up and stuff. But if I was viewing it a little bit more on this time frame, I thought, look, I can see if I can get that. Just yeah, there we go. So I viewed this as this was the move down, and then a bit of an across, and then down again. Sweet. So that's gonna suggest that's the high. Great. We've got some sellers. Let's give them a chance. So I saw this as the primary, came up to this area. The divider came on down, and then the secondary sort of all activated in that one candle. I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. That was interesting. And then once it came out and it got past this guy, I thought, look, I think I might be wrong, but I think it either this is coming back in here and it's like another secondary, or it's actually on. But either way, I think there's enough juice in the buys to at least get me up to this area here. I ended up being able to get up a bit higher. That's what I was looking at on Friday in London. I managed to get in around about here, but I got on the, I was trying to time it more on the 15 as more of my main time. So I viewed this as my anchor time frame, but on the 15 I was looking at it a bit more.
Okay, so we'll run all the pieces at this as much as we can. Okay, just so we know where we are and what we're doing. And it's good practice to see it from every angle as possible, right? So I'll show you the daily's angle from it and show you, because that's like our big boy just one above, right? Just to see what is he looking at, where are we operating, and where do we fit in, kind of thing. So on this one, downtrend, and you were aware of that as well. Downtrend, support breaks, and we are now dealing with, we're right up at that resistance to see what happens. Okay, Another thing on the bottom is we have a rejection,
Yes.
volume, and then follow
Mhm.
through.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a strong buyer down in this area.
Mm.
Okay, so that's a buyer's territory that we won't easily necessarily get through because they're going to keep probably hitting it and irritate us. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're aware of all of these things and we're seeing the chop. We're seeing a lot of chop in here, but we're seeing the
Mhm.
angle of the up move very, very strong.
Yeah.
It's not like this chop
Mm-hmm.
where the angle is like that.
Yeah.
So it's legs are good for us, but as long as the slant is healthy. If
Mhm.
slant is like this and we have legs, then it's almost like, man, those 3 or 4 legs, they don't really matter because it's not slowing down.
Yeah.
The whole concept of legs is to actually slow it down. But if the angle of the whole thing is so sharp, then it's like, well, I can't slow it down for some reason.
Mhm.
Okay. And it's just happening to do legs, but it's not slowing down. Okay.
Mhm.
So all of that stuff, let's take it up to the line of resistance, which seems to be there. Okay, that's resistance right on top where the sellers began.
Yeah.
And now let's bring it down to the 4 hour. So everything we've done, we've understood what one time above is trying to do.
Mhm.
Right, here we are, to be exact. Okay, now that area is visible also to the dailies. But if I draw a line here, that's not visible to them.
Mhm.
Right? That's why I came from daily to 4 hours, just to be like, yeah, they see this, but they won't see this little SNR like right there. They don't see that.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, what's below here? It's a higher
Sorry.
low,
Oh yeah. It's a high low. Yep.
right? It's a
Mhm.
higher low that's gone up. The speed is very, very erratic. Are we
Mhm.
sure that this SNR is not going to pull back and hit the buy again just because we reached the resistance?
No. Not sure at
So
all.
we know the people sitting at that resistance are looking at this as, well, he came up too hot. I'm not going to hit the sells yet.
Yeah.
Let's see how it comes back up, and if it does a bad close, maybe then they'll hit the sells.
Mhm.
So up until then, your buys are okay, and you're saying we're saying we have an SNR there and we have resistance here. Let's see how the pullback performs based on there's multiple legs.
Mhm.
Can I buy on the third leg when it comes and closes like that, right at my support?
No, and the volume's awful as well. It's going up pretty decently. So
Okay,
no, I couldn't buy
it's
yet.
going up pretty decent. So we're like, I'm not gonna touch that because even though I see 3 legs down, it's too hot. It's too hot.
Yeah.
Then the thing gets reversed. Like it's getting the whole thing reversed. Then it comes and it does a bad close simultaneously and leaves you with the volume really high.
Mhm.
And would we say this is a pro, but would we say all of these people down here got trapped?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Right? So it's not just that it's coming right back up, but it's leaving all of these people down here trapped with volume and like there's 3 candles approximately that spent time down there.
Good 12
Like,
hours.
okay, yeah, 12 hours of people being, it's a sell, not to mention the resistance. Now you got volume in your side for the buy side, which means anyone who wants to sell next, will he be able to sell?
No, he's not going to punch through. You'd expect some sort of nonsense around about this area again, at least.
There you go, because that's a buyer's area now. They've made a stand, and you're looking at this saying, interesting. I also see it as a buy. I know my daily sell is going to back off now because of the volume that just came in. He has no choice but back off.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
for
okay.
us is, how do I get this low price? So once I get the trap set in, I know I can't hit the buy there. Then it gets rejected. I can't hit the buy there. And then this red bar comes in and then it closes bad, leaving high volume. Now I'm a little bit more certain. 3 legs down. Third leg is absolutely berserk, but super high volume on the bottom of the leg and leaves everyone down there. Now we can either take that test or we can take this test and saying we'll do the buys and we'll take it up to either that resistance or that resistance. That's the buy.
Okay, so I got a little bit lucky in some ways as well. I was going
Sorry.
I was going for the right so I was going for the right area, but it was somewhat lucky in some ways. I was wondering if that was viable. Is that more of an aggressive exit, letting it go that far, or is that like, no, I would have been happy with that?
No, that would be aggressive because at the same time, that's a trap also, right? The buyer.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So they need to release. They did, but look how fast it went down. So not enough time spent. We don't know if they're going to release again. That's why if you do this buy here, you got to get off at that station because the trap is still on hold.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that entry there, is that on that's on 15, seeing the seller fail.
Yeah. So what you would then see is, I'm now aware of the whole thing probed. I want to see starting
From there.
from this green bar. Yeah, there we go. From that green bar, because the moment this red one closes, I want to then start going down and seeing how do I get in. Let me go down to 15. I want to see if I can get some kind of a sell attempt and then take the buy off of that. So here we go. There's the probe that comes back up, leaving all of these people trapped down here. And then you want to see some kind of sellers try to come in and they can't do anything. Any break buy above that seller attempt is launch time.
Okay. I got in too early then. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Because what you're doing is you're saying, all right, sellers, do what you got to do, and I'm going to take the turn of that. Or you're aware that this whole area is a trap area, and as prices are coming down in 1 leg, 2 leg, strong rejection, you're like, it was strong on the way down. I'm not touching that because it can come back down for a 3rd leg. As that comes down, and wherever it gives you a bad close for the seller, you're like, gotcha. Here we go.
Okay.
You can play the same way. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's okay. Because I was looking at this and I thought, oh, that looks pretty good. Really like the way that it's launched, liking the volume. Okay, lovely. Let's get it coming back and in. Ideally, I was hoping for a bit of a slower pullback and then let it take off, ideally. But I just set a limit order. And then when I finished driving home, it sort of has come down. I had my stops about here, I think, from memory. So it's pretty close to my stops. But so that was definitely too early because I had thought that's such a nice launch. It's probably good to go. I'm not going to chase it, but then I was still too wrong. It needed a bit more time. Well, clearly those sellers came in a bit hotter than I expected. And then I ended up getting shaken out in here. I thought, I don't think these buyers have got it. So I'd misread that.
Okay. Yeah. These areas then become important. It's just, if we're on the 15 too early, we don't see that the higher time frame, the sell side is dying out. And then as the sell side dies out, we end up here in this zone by the time we come to a lower time frame. But if we
Yeah.
prematurely read it, then we can get lost in trying to figure out what this all means. And that's the part where it gets dangerous sometimes. It's like, I got the right idea, but I got involved a little too soon.
Yeah. Okay, so just need more patience. All right.
Yeah.
A bit more time
So
to play out. Yeah. Cool. Cool.
this
Thank
is
you.
going to with a little bit more precision of how do I time it to absolute perfection? Because we want to be on that bar or that bar for the launch, and the stop has to be here. And targets up in this area, that area. So we're looking
Yeah.
at 1-to-1 for this particular case.
Yeah, it's not stunning. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking if I can get it down here, it'd be more like a 2-to-1, which was another reason I liked it. But yeah, but then it was just too early. Okay, cool. Cool.
Excuse me, Naveen, just a very quick question on the 4 hours.
Yeah.
Now,
It's loading. Okay. Yeah.
Still loading.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
up on my end, but okay.
Yeah, it's come up now. So you see how we've got a move down. We have a move down here, and then
Yeah.
a hold, and then a move down. So that would be a refresh, and then it goes below. So I understand that if we go to the daily, it won't show us the owner on the daily because of how it is on the daily. So are we then good to say, okay, well, we know what the story is. We know overall is a downtrend, and there is a refresh on the daily, but this part cannot be seen on the daily clearly. Can we use that temporarily as an anchor, as an owner, like we just did? Is that
Yeah. Yeah. Because then what we're doing is we're using levels that make sense, right? And we're saying they're going to try from here or they're going to try from there. So in this particular case, that's like a 50% mark right here, right? For this up move.
Yeah.
So we know that even if that fails, they're still going to attempt. And we're like, even if we don't see it and we don't have to go up to the daily, we know thereabouts another attempt is going to happen.
Yeah.
Not to mention this level is shown even on the daily that they see it as well.
Yeah. Got you. Thank you.
So what we're trying to see is, will it respond? And if it does respond, if it has a bad close, can we take it for a sell? But the fact that the buyers came in with volume, it's like, oh, okay, the sell's off for a bit.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to let them through so easily. So it's going to go up and then possibly new high. But if that new high rejects, then a sell down to here. But the targets will always be here because we don't know when to take it through.
Yeah.
So this is basically keying off of the volume that shows up, and you're basically saying, I need to know. There's a volume indication telling me don't go through. It's actually buyers have just stepped in. Now you got to wait.
Yeah.
So trade it
as a buyer.
Instead of trying to wait for a primary on a higher time frame and then a secondary, and that secondary is going to give you a long headache because he's got to get through him. You could have done a buy.
Yeah.
So this is more like try to go with the flow. This whole training that we've done twice today already is more of not purely primary, secondary, but trying to look at it from who sees what and what happens at these levels. It's more in that sort of logic.
Yeah.
Like it's more technical rather than an explanation and reasoning and all that stuff behind it. That one's with the primary, secondary. This is more of we're at a level, what's it do? Can we do something off that level? Everyone sees this level, so what happens?
Yeah, that makes sense because there could be a temporary action that we can get involved in.
Exactly, exactly. So like this cannot sell, this can. You see, because we don't know if however many legs this is up, it's too strong of a close on the way up. Even though this is resistance, it's too strong a close. So we don't know if they're gonna, SNR is gonna hit the buyback. But when we allow for the SNR to happen, and then the SNR on its way up, bad close, we're like, all right. Instead of selling one, selling two. It's just another word of saying secondary. We're selling secondary. But we're not switching time frames. I'm trying to train your eyes to see, and it's that moment where the tingling comes in saying it's gonna go. And then that's the movement from here until perhaps a buyer area saying, that's it. That's the move. I've opened doors until there.
Yeah.
And then we can say, I want to remove 50% there because I'm trying to take it down to here. But that just doesn't happen because it's dying. That trend is dying.
And what would you think of this area when it comes to resistance?
Oh, same thing. If it comes to that, let's say this resistance here, right? Now, I want you to think about this. I'm going to circle it. Take a look. We'll go to the daily. Does the daily see that area as a resistance? Or that area? They see it a bit lower, or they see this one clearly. So sometimes we're just trying to look for is that something that the daily sees, or is that something only the 4 sees? You see that line I'm drawing?
Yeah.
That's some lower time frame they see. Daily doesn't see that as SNR.
Yeah.
So if I go back down to the 4 hours and I show you from the drop, where did it go? From the, if I take it from the drop or something like that, daily won't see that.
Right. We're still keeping it in line with the daily because the daily is our owner in the development. It's being developed.
Yeah, it's basically one time frame above. That's our big boy for us. So we're doing whatever we can here because we see levels, this and that, and then we're saying, and one more time frame higher also sees this. It's a strong level. Watch out.
Right. So am I, just so I get this right, am I correct to say that in terms of our temporary stuff that we're doing over here, we're using the one time frame higher or the big boy for the levels specifically, just for the levels?
Sorry.
Is the one time frame higher only for the levels at the stage?
Yeah. The one time frame higher will always come into handy because no matter what you do, you should be able to look at this time frame and see those higher time frames also see this. So the more clarity you have, like this, it's like, okay, everyone sees that. But if you do something tiny like that and that, it's like, I don't know how many see that.
Right.
Like this is the fact that he went bounce, 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 move away, then it comes up, bounce, move away, and then a new high. This will be visible, not just here, but also one above. And therefore, that will come into perspective.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So sometimes a halfway mark might not be a level we want to work with because it's like no one sees that. So we're not going to operate there. We're going to operate in an area that people can see.
That makes sense. That's why you have those lines, red lines in the daily.
Yeah. So if we go with this one now, for example, okay, we go with that sort of level. Any volume indications that you shouldn't sell? It's a downtrend. Anything that says don't sell in terms of volume?
More
Anything that
towards
sticks out.
more towards these areas, yes.
But that's later, right? That's much later.
Yeah, nothing.
Here, nothing here, right?
No.
So as soon as we get up to that level, we get up there in what looks like 2 legs, because I'm reading between. But how is the angle?
Very steep. Yeah.
Sharp. Leg 2 is smaller than leg 1, but how's the close?
It's
Strong.
good close. Yeah.
It's a good close, right? It's not a bad close where it's like
Mm-hmm.
50% got wiped out or 40% got wiped out. It's a good close. I don't want to be a seller on the next day. It's too strong. I don't know if the SNR is going to hold and push it back up. Now, when the SNR does push it back up, and now we're going up for what looks like the next leg, I have the next leg subdivided, massively sells off. Like, okay, it's a bad close, but I don't have an entry anywhere. Because I've already reached my target. That would have been my target. I can't get in.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we know holds, and when this bar comes in, there's a lot of volume. This area that was holding, now gets probed. We need to find out, did that probe and the volume, where's the volume coming in? Is it the launch? Or is that volume at the rejection? Because if it's at the rejection, people might be trapped in there. So what we can do then is, sorry, I can move this replay here. Just so we can go down at that spike area and be like, what happened there? And how did we get above it and then right back down below it? I go to just one time frame, just to see action around that. Okay, here we go. 3 hours outside. Now let's just wait for the volume to come in, but the volume's at the launch. Now we have a problem. We can't really do a sell, even though we know there's traps, trap people up in there. So even when it comes down, we can't do a sell. So then it's like, okay, too much volume at the bottom of a trend. Maybe it's turning, maybe. But it's not letting us get onto the sell for some reason. Every time it gets to our area, something crazy happens and it just doesn't let us in. So these are early warning signs of something's wrong with this trend. They're messing around.
Okay.
So no entry. So this one runs away, no entry. And when it comes up and traps people, it's like, all right, we're going to do this. But while we look down, we're like, oh man, that's a buyer. If this volume was not there, but all the volume was here, then we'd say it's all in here, the volume. They're all trapped.
Sweet.
That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
That's like do the sell, no problem, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's telling you this is back on at a good spot, because we want a good spot so we can sell away from where the buyers might come. And then your exits would be in here, right? Somewhere there. So these type of things, if you do it like this, what happens is you get your entry very quickly and you get your exit very quickly. You position yourself right towards the right edge of things. Yeah. Otherwise, this is a primary, nasty secondary, stop loss, nasty secondary again, and then should I have sold it? There's so many things that could have gone wrong or multiple attempts. But by using your anchors, wherever your anchor was, in this case, 4 hours, and saying, not yet, not yet. Ah, I ran away. Okay, not yet. So it can keep you stabilized and saying, where exactly is this going to move from? And if your entry is down here, then you just, by choice, I don't know, it's too low. Yeah. So that's New Zealand yen. Sorry, New Zealand dollar. So if I was to look at this, I would say, okay, that's a bad close. The angle is too high. I'm not going to sell there. Then once it calms down and comes right back up, okay, I'd be interested in doing a sell off of this, considering everyone's trapped up there as well, most likely. And we got a bad close. Problem is, we had a buyer buying this up.
Yeah.
And when we are on a lower time frame, there's a buyer here buying it up. So if I do a sell there, I might not make it beyond that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would be a sell because it's a location to sell from. And the target would be generally to first stop here.
Location and bad close.
Location and bad close, yeah. So bad close always basically is a bar with a wick on top. That's a bad close.
Yeah.
Preferably green. I prefer them in green because it looks like visually everyone's probably trying to get trapped because it looks like it's on its way up. These are trapped buyers in here now.
Yeah.
There's approximately 8 hours of trap in there. So if you do a sell in here, there, you're only gonna make it down to this trap in here. 1 hour again. Or you can say, if I want more than 1 hour, I need the price to somehow get up here, and then I'll hit the sells. You can reverse engineer the entries as well. And saying that's my minimum, the MAP, we call it, the minimum acceptable price. If you know this is your target, then you can say, if I know this is my stop loss, then I need a price up in this area if I want 2 hours. So your minimum acceptable price becomes that. And saying, I'll take that price or anything above, but I will not take any price down here.
Yeah.
Can you just go back to the daily for 1 second? I just want to clarify something.
Yeah.
The fact that you had high volume at the bottom, that was telling you that you had a buyer who took it up.
Yeah. So if
made you wary to do the sell.
yeah, because that's an SNR to do a sell off of, right? The one I just drew an arrow on.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. The fact that we got an initial reaction, let's say it's hard to see on this one, but let's say if we're trading the 4 hour, right? Where you can see the legs and everything, you got the initial reaction, you're like, perfect. If it comes back, we'll sell it. But the way it's coming back is the sell got rejected and it got rejected with volume.
Yeah.
So now he's not coming back for a test. He's coming back as a buyer.
Correct. Yeah. So that buyer, does that now affect your the next sell that you're doing at the higher resistance?
It does, because it says you can't take it down to here. You're gonna have to contend with this guy first.
Yeah, but just at the sell down to that level is fine though, right? Based on this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. That you can do.
Correct.
Yeah.
However,
That's fine.
because we were seeing the details that there's a strong buyer in here as well, look, with high volume.
Yes.
I'll show you this on 4 hours.
Okay.
There's still an issue with here. There's a buyer in here that not only did it get rejected, but the next candle also had a follow through. That means there's a buyer here.
Okay.
So whatever thing has volume, and then the next thing says, and there's follow through, it's important.
Okay. That's fine. Thanks.
Because it did something. It didn't just show you volume, it did something after that. Okay, so rejection, bad close, volume, and then follow through. It didn't let it come down. It went up, green bar close. It had follow through.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
But then it's like, okay, watch out, you know.
Naveen, in this case, you know how we talked about the whole if the moves are fast, then we want it to slow down so we know, okay, it's
Yeah.
getting ready. In this case, we won't see it, say over here, we won't see it much on this time frame. While taking the story of this time frame, can we use that concept on the position time frame?
No, by doing it this way, it's very difficult to use the precision time frame unless you're just going in for the entry.
Yes, because the reason why I say that is because I couldn't see the slowdown or the small candles, the range. I didn't see all that in here.
Good.
Around this area.
No, okay, so let me show you this. Sorry, let me just do it here from the daily. Okay, so now look very carefully. Let me show you. Just because this SNR didn't hold down here, does that mean it's failed and now it's become an uptrend?
No.
No, it's still a sell, right? It's still a sell. We're now going up to the next level and saying, okay, well, whatever that is, 40%. Okay, they're going to try it from there.
Yeah.
Okay, if we want to sell also, then we want to see how did we get up there? We went sideways, then we had some kind of a chop here, and then we went up very aggressively, pulled back, and had a bad close. So we like that there's a bad close, but we don't like the aggression of how fast it got up there.
Yeah.
The fact that it got up there so fast, we are in fear of exactly this. If we had sold on the next bar, what if it comes right back in our face? Okay, now that it has come back in our face, what's the performance?
Not
bad close again. But this time, the bad close has a probe on top. We need to find out, hey, did we trap someone up there while we were doing the bad close? Because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So then we just take a look at this on the 60. Okay, and this is the top there. Okay, and there's a probe on top. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hours of data up there, putting them in a bad close. Where's your volume?
It's going up.
Your volume's at the top as well. This is not initiation volume. This is volume for the people who got trapped. People got trapped right at the top where the volume showed up, and then it turned around. So what you actually have is sell candidations right now. because you don't want to sell this one from the daily because it went up too strong, but you're okay with selling this one because it's a test. Sorry. It's a test off of the first one.
Yeah.
And it had a bad close, but it's not just a bad close. It's a trap. It's not just a trap. It's a trap with volume. You can do a sell off of this area here, but you cannot take it beyond this area. That's your exit.
Because of the high volume at the bottom.
Yes, because this guy still seems to be awake.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he's going to time spent and fly through finally, because it is a downtrend, or will it probe higher before going down? So for us to not deal with that, we want to extract money here. We have to extract.
So am I correct to think then that we are in the phases prior to this stuff that may happen?
Yes, yes, that's a possibility.
Yes.
But we don't want to front run that,
Okay.
because now then what's going to happen is you're going to get entries here right at support.
Yeah.
You want to be closer to this line instead of that line.
Yeah.
Sell with the seller and away from the buyer, always.
Makes sense. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Excuse me. I wouldn't even sell this one. This one's difficult. So you guys understand now the idea of a bad close at a level? It means something. And then you just have to reverse engineer and be like, how did we get to that bad close? What happened leading up to it? If the story is not good leading up to it, then you say, okay, leave this area, come back to do a test, and we'll see from there. As long as the read is right, you'll be okay. Which means you're just looking at it from the right direction.
You said this one is a bad one. You wouldn't do it. Is that right?
Yeah, because angle is so sharp, buyer is still interested.
Okay.
Now, this thing is also still very aggressive. Still very aggressive.
Okay. Is that
It's
that
not
aggression?
bad close, but it's just very, very hot.
Okay. So it's plus aggression.
You see, you got volume below you and you got volume above you. It's like it's sandwich. If you don't get the absolute corner prices, you might not make it out of there alive. You know, it's the jaws of death in there. So you have to be at the absolute corner if you want to get any money out of this thing. So we use the daily to figure out how to make money there, rather than I need to hold all the way down to there, but then there's so many barriers along the way that you need to figure all of that stuff out until the line of least resistance is made, and then it's like a home run. But that home run is getting more and more difficult because sometimes it goes down, probes back up, leaving everybody trapped, and high volume comes in. And we don't pick up on that information. We just keep thinking, well, secondary is rolling over. This should still be a sell. And it's not a sell. The buyer stepped in and we didn't see that. That's why it's like, okay, it's time to open up the third eye and don't let anything go beyond you. watch everything. Nothing should pass by.
Is this harder to do if it's because if it's a ranging state, then you've got equal buyers and sellers.
Yeah, if it's a ranging state, then we would prefer to get traps. So let me see if I can find that. Yeah, these are ideal. Ranging states, time spent outside, those are ideal before coming back in. These traps to trade off of them, those are ideal.
Okay. Yeah.
So in other words, with ranges, we have to give it a bit more time.
Give it a bit more time. Those are the safer ones to trade. You know, you can get away with doing sells like that after a slowdown, run away, and then bad close. You can do that. But the ones with the traps, you know that there's fuel behind your trade now, because it tried to look like it's breaking the range out, and then it's got people trapped up in there. Now we're gonna go the other way, and it might go even faster. Yeah. One second. Right. Yeah. So this is like, what are your opinions on this when you see it in this format? Like, does it cause more confusion? Is it like, oh, it was much easier to read it in a primary, secondary format? Or what's going through your mind? So if I know that, I can build the information around it to explain it better, but I need to know good enough, just that much is good enough, or we need a better variation way to see it, to understand it.
For me, one thing I'm thinking is just like, I don't want to say when do I use one and when do I use another, because it's kind of, they do intertwine.
It's the same thing.
But
it's the same thing.
But with the, you know, if you're going, I'm putting my primary, secondary hat on. Okay, I'm looking at it that way, and then this is like, okay, this way I'm thinking about it like, okay, this is, I have to consider the bad close, location, volume, how is the aggression, what's the angle, like it's all the more
Yeah.
Which one am I doing? And
okay.
I like this actually, because it feels more like I'll say more raw, I feel like. You really have to pay attention to things in a lot of detail.
Yeah. So what's a primary, secondary? It's this, and it's, let's weed him out fully, and then we'll go for the run, right? And then we'll go for the run, maybe till here. We might not make a lower low, but we'll go for the run. So we're not location sensitive. We're more of, I just want the home run to launch once I clear out this guy.
Yeah.
What this more methodology is, we know where a primary is going to happen from. I'm trying to get you in here, closer to it, and saying, let's take it down. Or if this is good enough, get in there and take it down. And saying, that's already a trade to start with. You're actually starting up here rather than starting down here.
Okay,
that's the key differences. So secondary is more launch phase. This style is more of, we're not really interested in launch. If we get the launch, we get the launch. Otherwise, we're interested in good spot, good location, move away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this
this is-
also opens up the whole primary as well.
Yeah, this is pre-primary, if you like.
No, 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 not pre-primary. We never, we try to stay away from the primary because that's still considered one.
Oh.
Sometimes the way it gets up to primary, it's like, oh, it's too fast. I don't want to touch it.
Mhm.
Because I don't know if this against that, if I'm done yet. So if he moves away and then he comes back and he gives me a
Test.
bad close, I can do it. If he gives me a bad close with people trapped in it, I'm doing it. If he gives me a bad close and volumes at the bad close, I'm doing it. But
Mhm.
if I don't get a bad close and I get a strong close, then going down 2 time frames and preparing for the sell is not going to do any
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's too early. It's too early.
Mhm.
The higher time frame has just your anchor time frame has told you there is zero interest from those players to sell right now. So even if you go down 2 time frames to get that early secondary sell in, it might not even move at all. So this just sort of keeps you in line a little bit and saying, let's get you in a better spot. Let's get you in early. Let's get you out early. And then you can decide what you want to do, run after. We call this a 3. 1 is primary, 2 is the secondary, which is the test, and 3 is more confirmed, like it's rolling over. The trend is back.
So the thing,
Apologies.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Ali.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the 3 things which you were looking at for the bad close is the volume, and you get trap area on the test, and then there was a third. I didn't catch the third one. What was
Bad
the third one?
close. I think
That
it was
is
bad
the-
close.
Oh, okay. It's just 3. Okay, bad close with the trap and volume
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
location.
exactly. So the 1 generally tells you the location is good. It's like you need the primary to show up to know secondary should be attempted. So the 1 is someone responded here. Good. That's a good sign. That means maybe it's time to kill this uptrend, this little uptrend, and prepare the sells. Because that's the area where a seller would normally sell. And you pull that level up, not just by mid-air, everyone sees that level. So all you're saying is, I know everyone sees it. Does everyone respond to it? If yes, perfect. Get me a test, I'm in. That's all you're doing. So hence the word bounce trade. You're bouncing off of a level. So you got to get good at picking levels.
So if we do have a bad close over here, around these areas where primary is coming in, then somewhere later on, we can look to enter this up to these areas. Sorry, my drawing, for some reason, my annotation is not working very well, but it would be up to these areas.
Okay, so it's not, okay. If you get a bad close up here,
Yeah.
you need to do reverse engineering of how did it get up there. That needs to get solved.
Okay.
If it got up there with a dying momentum, begin.
Sure.
If you have a bad close, but it got up there like, for example, like this, that's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
That's a bad close, but man, a rocket, like don't step in the way. Like,
Yeah. So I understand that you're still. I feel you're still saying that the primary remains a riskier one. You have to put a bit more, say, effort in understanding how it comes to the level. And the main thing that you mentioned some time back was the correlation. You have to put more, say, understanding on what the correlation is for primary. So that remains, the risk on the primary remains. But
it always remains. Yeah.
yeah, but the secondary is, the primary is giving you a lot more information for the secondary. So secondary
Yeah.
is, yeah.
So let's say in another terms, you have something like this now. It's ever so getting smaller, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a bad close. That's different.
Sure.
It's like I can see multiple legs in there. I can see the momentum is choppy, bad close, good location. Okay. Sell.
Yeah.
If you have this, and then you have a bad close, it's like, I know it's done multiple legs up, but then it was still strong and there's no subdivision in there,
Yeah.
which means that last leg up, the candles were like that. That looks strong as it got up there, even though it's leg 3 up. So just because I don't know if the SNRO is going to snap back in my face, why don't we let it go down first and see what happens? And then if I get a bad close, hit the sells.
Yeah.
So what you've essentially done is you're trading the secondary. Like you're always trading the next piece. You always generally you want to trade a test.
Yeah.
Unless you have format where it's like, okay, it's super slow, just get it, just take it, it's fine.
Yeah. I think the good thing about this piece, this what you're showing us right now, is that it helps us, just like how we did on New Zealand USD, where New Zealand USD is still in that daily ownership. We're still waiting for that primary to come down on the daily, but we're saying, okay, can we look at the details of it and look to do stuff within?
Yes.
That's the benefit of what you're showing us.
Yeah, and then you can have trades like how Mo was looking at it. It's like, oh, I see a buy in this, and
Yeah.
that is correct. And not only that, now there's volume supporting his buy. It's saying, oh, you better be on a buy. Like there's nothing to buy. So
Yeah.
now it became so strong that the sellers won't hit against it. You know.
Yeah.
So, but now with the buyers getting rejected through the line on the New Zealand dollar, the buyers getting rejected through the line. Now we know they're trapped. So then there's a sell, but the sell won't last long. It can't go far because there's a buyer right here. So what we're doing is you don't have a line of least resistance. You're now in a ping pong, which is generally what a secondary is. You get stuck in a ping pong sometimes.
Yeah.
Cool. I just had one other question too, Naveen.
Yeah.
With so just it sounds like what we're doing is pretty much primary secondary, but there's more focus on location. And the idea at the moment is, well, if there's no home run trades, we really need that location, and we're not trying to go too far with the secondary. Is that kind of is it like, it seems like almost a subtle shift in flavor rather than a massive shift, more so than what I thought earlier. Is that right, or is it?
Yeah. It's I'm not trying to change anything that you guys are doing. I'm just trying to get you guys to trade closer to the levels rather than
Right.
rather than this. where it's like, okay, that's good enough. I'll sell it there. It's a little bit away from the top. If we can get that high prices, that will be ideal.
Yeah, that would be ideal. And then the stuff you were talking about as well about the volatility and waiting, I might be wrong here, but one of the things I thought I saw was if we have big volatility, and then it's starting to get smaller, and it might be on this side, for instance, but we know that we've got flow backing us for the buys. Even though that's up towards the top area, it's actually nice. Like if we can. Remember you talking about Henning? It was like a 5-minute chart, and we were like, "Yep. Well, let's just wait for that thing to break. It's 5 minutes. It's precision. You can have your stops down there. It's better to let it break on a 5-minute rather than trying to do, because it's an hour-long trade. We'll be a bit more careful there.
Yeah.
So that was
So,
that, and that's not quite the same as this. It's
no, because this one is, there's a level where someone's going to hit it from. Okay. That one, what that is an absence of buyers, right? As it rinses them out, an absence of buyers. What I'm trying to have you guys do is, yeah, that's good. Keep that in mind. But can you sell with the sellers? That's not an absence. That is an active seller coming in and saying, I'm going to hit it again. I'm going to hit it again. Or leaving buyers trapped behind you and I'm going to hit it again. So you're going more with the force rather than, because my opposite party disappeared, my sell should slide right through.
Yeah, it's not quite the same,
See
is
the
it?
key
It's not quite the
difference?
same commitment. Yeah.
So one is home run based because one side is completely gone and then you're ready to slide right through. The other one is, this is a spot it'll respond really aggressively. And we're just saying, if I read this right, I will be a response,
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
can I just we're trying to go for the next station, or ideally we will sit through the pushes up again and then
okay.
try.
So that's a good question. Let's do this example here. Downtrend. Right? You'd like to see a pullback.
Yeah.
Here's an S&R pullback, maybe a higher time frame sees it, maybe not. Just as an example, goes up 2 legs.
Yeah.
Sell after that bad close. That's a huge candle. That's a huge candle, right? Okay. I got a resistance up here as well. Let's see. Now it goes up 3 legs. Second leg is subdivided, but it got strong. Then it pulls back and then goes subdivided again. Sell there just because we touched the line?
No.
Because that last second before candle went up quite aggressively as well.
Yeah, so no bad close, still aggressive, and we don't know if it's going to S&R respond and hit the buys again in our face. Right? So now, once they did hit the buy, they don't make a higher high, but we don't have a bad close until that red bar closes, and we're like, damn it, we're down here now.
Yeah.
Okay, it would be different if we were still high up, like let's say this was an S&R example and that responded and we get that after it comes back, and those are ideal. So this one would say, assuming this was a bad close, just as an example, where would you target?
Where I had my last big buyers, where would they be?
Oh yeah, it's still quite high, right?
So
the next station.
These are all your stations that you can visually map out, saying that all these areas buyers took off from, so there might be some buyers there. These are landmines. So what you're doing is you're assuming at least the upper one, since you did your best to rinse it out, maybe you'll make it through. If not, you can remove some money. And then in case it does that, where there's an absence of buyer and then it slides, you're like, cool, I got that too. But you got your entry high enough to say, I will sit through that absence of buyer as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're targeting first station and 50% take some profit.
Yeah, if you want to, or you take the full gain and be like, well, I'm good with that. I just want to do that all day long. You know, just get to a level. I want a fast response, 1 or 2 candles, I'm done. You know.
Okay.
So then you can do that on repeat, and there's not much pain of, I hope this goes, and there are lots of waiting. This one will be more of you're in, you're out, you're done. You know, next trade. But the goals with these are, if you get there at interval, you want to try to take it down because you've done everything you can. That's why you took it, because you emptied them out, hopefully.
That's true.
Their momentum, right? So
I
you
mean-
want to try to take it down.
Yeah. I mean, with this one, it's very similar on here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Very similar on here, where we have that candle that shows, okay, I have a rejection.
Yeah.
As it's coming up, and then the candle after, or 2 candles after that, closes above and then gets rejected, is the same thing you're saying over here, where it tries to go up but then it gets rejected.
No, not this one. I want to see a candle with a bad close, which is this one, which
Yeah.
means
I mean,
that used to be a pure green bar before it got rejected. Not that he came up 1 inch higher. Not like that.
no,
A pure green bar means everyone sees it as a breakout.
Yeah, yeah. But I meant, you know how you said, imagine this was a rejection. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just once it slows down, okay, either you can take it there as it slows down, or if you're not convinced enough, then you say, I don't know if the SNR is going to hit it. Let them hit it, and I will take the test of it.
Yeah.
I may have to wait a few extra candles because it might process a little bit before going through. That's okay. But I now know at least that test, when it gave me a bad close, here we go.
Yeah. So what I meant was, you know how you said, imagine this would reject it. However,
Yeah.
this example over here is actually showing the imagination that we were doing over here.
Yes.
Sorry, that was a very bad explanation.
It's okay. It's okay. Like, yeah. So we don't know if he was going to hit it for a buy. He did. And then the fact that he's getting rejected now, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's still, the angle is very strong up. It's very strong up.
Yeah.
So if we connect this high to that high, it's this. That high, it's a little bit dead. That high to that high, you can see the shift in momentum just by connecting the highs. You see the energy fading. So you want to make sure the energy is faded before getting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll just test back at you really aggressively, and you'd get a stop out for no reason. Okay,
Yeah.
so don't just go with candle design. Try to understand how did it get up there. It's too hot.
Yeah.
That's why you'd have to say, okay, not a good close yet. Stand by. Not a good close yet. Gotcha. Good close, or bad close. Sorry, in our case,
Yeah.
bad close, but also some people trapped in there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now we can, whatever highest price we can get off of that, we take what we can, stops above there, and we try to stay. All right, I hope we can break through this area. Otherwise, next stop is here.
Oh, yep. Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
after that, next stop is here somewhere. And then next stop is there. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, guys. So what I'll do is I'll let you guys digest this information a bit. I need to get onto a call with Mariana. I think she's been waiting for the last 5 hours to get on a call. So
Send apologies from us that we're keeping.
Yeah.
Keeping.
Thank
I
you,
learned
guys.
in your pictures saying that these guys are keeping the call up. Yeah.
Thank you, Naveen.
Yeah.
Appreciate
So
it.
I'll do a call with her. Sorry.
I said thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I'll do a call with her, and then I'll be free later. In case you guys want to talk about this a bit more, we can. But for the most part, I think you guys have these two recordings earlier today, and this one, it should sort of give you a little bit alignment on the timing of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thanks,
Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.